شفاء لروحي وحبل المتين ورحمة قلبي وحصن الحصين شفاء لروحي وحبل المتين.
What's the significance of people being shown their grave and where they're going to be buried before they're dead?
Allah Ta'ala alam. You meaning like an unveiling? Allah Ta'ala alam. What's the significance of somebody who was before they die, that they see their burial place? Then Allah Ta'ala knows best. Okay. And Allah Ta'ala alam, that we have to sort of sometimes question those type of experiences, because that in particular, I'm speaking of that type of experience. Why? Because it's extremely high and lofty if it holds to be the actual place where the person will die and be buried. Why? Because only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is from the five knowledges, supreme knowledges of the ghaib. The exact place where the person will die. Allah Ta'ala, like in Surah Al-Luqman and others, are often that's supreme, unseen knowledge. That as a rule, Allah Ta'ala la yuthir. Allah Ta'ala doesn't manifest that illa man irtada, except for those who's pleased from amongst the messengers. That's like a really sort of supreme catch. For somebody to actually see the exact place where they're going to die. So if somebody has that type of experience where they're seeing the land they're going to die, they shouldn't necessarily hold on to that as a true experience. Okay? But it can have another type of meaning. Does the soul have a gender? And we often hear the saying, you will be with the one whom you love. What about women wanting to be with the Prophet ﷺ? The soul has what? The soul has quote-unquote gender. The Bag rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the spirit of man spherical. So the human spirit is spherical. And then he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cracked the spirit. Okay? And when he cracked the spirit, one half is male, the other half is female. That's what it literally means in our tradition, your soulmate. And life is about finding your other cracked up half. That's what life is about. Use an example. We didn't say lower realm is malleable. We said the spirit is malleable. Malleable means it's not fixed. It's not hard. And it, like quote-unquote, like spiritual plasticine. Like you can reform it into different shapes. That's the nature of the human spirit. All spirit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made. And you get glimpses of that inside of what subatomic physics. When you look at light, because remember, spirit is made out of light, but a higher light than what we experience. And what you see about light, when they have this sort of, like the dual theory of light, that light, it adjusts itself in accordance to those who are present. Sometimes it's matter, and then sometimes it becomes what? Non-matter, waveforms. That's what's called the dual theory of light inside of physics, okay? That's showing you that the nature of light is malleable. It adjusts itself in accordance to that which is present. In particular, modern science says intelligence. That it changes when intelligence comes into. So what they try to do, they try to observe light without quote-unquote light knowing that they're looking at it, that they're observing it. Like a second-hand experience to see how it behaves in the absence of human intellect. Okay? And so that's the nature of the human spirit. Likewise, angelic spirit. Likewise, sprite spirit. The sprite, the jinn. And the sprite, likewise, ability of transmutation. But the point we're trying to stress more so for maybe some of us is that we understand angels have transmutation. They're malleable. We understand, by example, that jinn of what are malleable. But we don't understand often that also human beings are. That there are certain human beings, and in this life, they could just change their form into a completely different form. And if people want to read about that, there's a great way. It's been translated to English by Sidi Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, Ibris, Pure Gold. And one of the beautiful things about that book, and it's one of the reasons why the ulama, mashallah, tabarakallah, they took to that book. And the father of Shaykh Muhammad al-Yaqubi, Shaykh Ibrahim Al-Yaqubi, rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, that he did the tahqiq of it, 2-volume, brilliant version, mashallah, tabarakallah, of the father of Shaykh Muhammad al-Yaqubi, Shaykh Ibrahim Al-Yaqubi, rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, of that work of Sidi Abdul Aziz. And inside of that work, one of the things Sidi Abdul Aziz brings you into is the world of Allah Ta'ala's people, the awliya, those who Allah Ta'ala protects. And of the things he shows you is their malleability. Like how they can transmute themselves in the same way as angels. These are the great imams of Islam, and any privilege in us to enter into that type of world. And if you don't know where someone is buried, how do you visit and pray for them? Like if you don't know where they're buried, then you can pray for them. And you don't necessarily have to visit them in order to pray for them because you lack that knowledge. And so any opportunity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you, especially in blessed places, and likewise also in blessed times, like the time in which we're in, the Dhul Hijjah, the days that have just gone past, after each and every single salah, on the Jum'ah in and of itself, Sa'atul Ijaba, Sa'atul Ijaba, that moment in the Jum'ah where all prayers are answered. Seek out those moments and pray for such a person, and it was dear to you. And that's obviously of great importance. Can the spirits return to homes they have left? For example, some people say spirits come on a Thursday when you make dua. And likewise, of the places you should visit, and having a good opinion because of the vortex we didn't go into, is that the Prophet ﷺ told us about good spirits and bad spirits. Of the places that they connect to on the face of the earth are two wells. One well inside of Mecca, the other well inside of Hadramaut. Inside of Mecca, Zamzam. So every single good soul that is good in the Barzakh, it connects to Zamzam. And that's why anyone goes to the Haram of Mecca, then khalas. At Zamzam is a good place to visit good souls, having a good opinion that the one who's gone before is good. And remember the Prophet ﷺ in a beautiful tradition shows us that the great gifts Allah Ta'ala has given us. SubhanAllah, the Ummah is mashallah, the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. That the Sahaba anhum wardahum, they see deceased upon a bier, in a coffin, bier, like a stretcher. And he's being carried through Medina to Munawwara. And then they were speaking good about the person. MashaAllah, good about the person, good opinion of him. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he says, wajabat. It's incumbent, wajabat. And then on another occasion, the Prophet ﷺ, and he's with his companions, and they see another person who's deceased. And the Sahaba now speak bad about him. And the Prophet ﷺ says, wajabat. It's become incumbent. And so they turn towards the Rasul and they ask the Rasul, what does it mean it's become incumbent? What does it mean? And the Prophet ﷺ gives us a secret. Alastum shuhada? Are you not the witnesses of God? Are you not his witnesses? When you spoke good about that person, wajabat lahul jannah. He's in paradise. Necessary. Obligatory for him. Because you're God's witnesses. And when you saw the other person, you spoke bad about him, wajabat lahul nar. Hellfire is incumbent for him. Why? Because you're God's witnesses. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةُ الْوَسَطَ لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. And it recites the verse that we made you an equitable nation, a fair nation, a just nation, so that you may be witnesses against humanity or for humanity. And that's why we should always be careful when somebody passes. Always be careful about releasing your tongue in anything that is bad about them. But rather release your tongue in that which is good about them. Because every human being, to a degree, has both good as well as bad. So promote the good, mention the good, allow that to remain upon the face of the earth. Because that's a sign that you're beautiful. And the beautiful people only speak beautiful things. And the foul people speak foul things. As the Prophet ﷺ in Sahih al-Bukhari, when he's walking with Sayyidat Aisha radiallahu anha wardaha, and some people from Banu Israel, Jews, walk past. And the Prophet ﷺ says, As-salamu, they say to the Prophet ﷺ, As-samu alaykum. As-samu alaykum. What does As-samu alaykum mean? Death be upon you. Poison be upon you. That's what they say to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ says to them, Wa alaykum as-salam. Peace be upon you. And Aisha says, what? And they say that to you, and then you respond with peace to them. And the Prophet gives us a beautiful statement, and it should be written in gold. He said, a container can only pour out what it contains. That's what he says. Can the spirits return to homes they have left? For example, some people say spirits come on a Thursday when you make dua khatam. They're greater spirits. Taban, they're released inside of the barzakh. Greater spirits, they roam. They can roam the entire universe. Araftum. But think about it. And you're a good spirit. Where you want to be at home? We want to be khalas somewhere else at the Kaaba. And think about it. Where you going to be? Well, alhamdulillah. Spirits can come. Ibn Qayyim brings it, and Sahaba radiallahu anhu in spirit form tradition, Sahaba coming back, the Sahaba who had died, and they hadn't detailed where their inheritance was, where their wealth was. And so in spirit form that they come back, and then they tell, go to such and such a place, you'll find all my wealth buried, take that money and distribute it amongst my heirs. And then, what was that? They go to the place, dig up, there's the wealth. And they distribute amongst the earth. And traditions. And that's higher souls, yani. But it's higher souls. Note, it's not normal. It's rarefied. That's really, really high souls. They're called mutlaqa, itlaq. They've been completely liberated inside of the barzakh. They're the people of the highest realm of the Iliyin. And it's a question which no doubt is a serious question, but and it has a very simple answer. But the answer, sometimes we may not grasp the answer. Yani. The question is, how do we know the hereafter actually exists? It's simply because Allah and His Prophet ﷺ told us. And we really have to ponder that. Although Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us analogies inside of life. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا. God strikes an example. And He strikes an example of the earth in which we experience. Of how when it all deteriorates to the point that it's considered to be dead. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يُحْيِي الْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا. That He brings the earth back to life after it was dead. وَكَذَلِكَ تُخْرَجُونَ. And likewise, you shall be resurrected inside of the next world also. Okay? Yani when we look at the people, not just the prophets themselves, but also the awliya, the great imams of religion. And we don't just mean in the manifestation of the Rasul, but every single tradition that has gone before. Those people, let's look at their character. Exemplar in character in terms of what we call good people and truthful people. And every one of them have agreed upon this point. We got the point. Nobody has told you that the actual the next world does not exist. Nobody. They've all told you it exists. Every single good person that the world has ever known. Every single prophet, every single saint, every single one of them have told us about the next world. And if we don't believe them, then who then are we believing? Araft. And then it's a shock, next world. When you disbelieve, and then you wake up, and then, as the Prophet ﷺ said, النَّاسُ النِّيَامِ. Human beings are asleep, وَإِذَا مَاتُوا انْتَبَهُوا. But when they die, now they wake up. Now they realize the truth of the prophets themselves, what the prophets spoke about. And nobody spoke about the next world like our prophet. Yani, graphic description of the next world. Graphic description of the barzakh. Graphic description of what resurrection. Graphic description of paradise. Graphic description of hell. Nobody spoke like him. If you gathered the words, collective words of every human being who spoke about the next world, it's just a drop in the ocean of what the Prophet ﷺ said. And we are fortunate. Yani we should be, when we go to the next world, expected that, okay. Munkar and Nakir, you're a bit late. Hey, now you're on time. We should expect it all because He's told us in graphic detail, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's the believer, confidence as he goes into the next world. Look at Umar ibn al-Khattab. He said, Umar ibn al-Khattab, Ya Rasulullah, about Munkar and Nakir. Alana uquluna yawma idhin. That spiritual right, intellects are there right? The Prophet says, yes, that's the case. He said that I'm good. I'm confident about what's going to take place in the next world. That's Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. There's a riwayah with Umar ibn al-Khattab when they come, in the dream, and Kash ibn Abi Dunya brings it, when they come, that Munkar and Nakir, they say to Umar ibn al-Khattab, first question, Man Rabbuka? Who's your Lord? Umar ibn al-Khattab said, Man Rabbukum? Who's your Lord? No, you ain't questioning no one, I'm questioning you. That's how it's going down today. I mean, what is that? And who's Umar ibn al-Khattab? SubhanAllah. And I hate to see if Galilee in Israel is drying up. Has that anything to do with Gog and Magog? It's not to do with Gog and Magog, but it's to do with the Antichrist. It's to do with the manifestation of the Antichrist, not Gog and Magog. What happens to the soul when you sleep? It ascends. Ya'rij. The soul ascends into the heavens. That's what the soul does. Because that's where it's from. And what we mean ascends, we're not talking about the physical ascension. Because the soul does not move. And the soul's not from the world of dimension, of movement, of time. Not from that. But it means it's disconnection. How it disconnects from the world. And now it becomes present inside of the world that it's in. The world of the Amr in and of itself. Sometimes we have recollections of that. That's what's called dreams. Dreams are recollections of the experience of the soul. True dreams. That's what they are. Okay? And if your parents have passed away, are they aware of what is happening to their children in this world? And it depends, as we say, on the nature of the parents, upon the nature of their spirit. If they're good spirits, bigger spirits, and they're aware of that which is happening inside of the world in and of itself. Okay? A degree lower than that, la. They can still be good, but they're going to have to ask new spirits that come into the barzakh, what's happening to so-and-so, okay? They're not the higher spirits. If you have a good dream of a dead person, example, a dead person claiming they are performing Hajj, is that true? Are they in a good place? And you should have a good opinion it's true. Remember, the human being is fascinating, possible it's a projection of the soul. It's possible that this is your projection. Okay? Like you'd use in English, that you're just dreaming, like it's not real. It's just a projection of the soul. Okay, that's one. But also, the good opinion that no, it's not a projection of the soul. It's being projected into the soul. It's the experience of the soul in and of itself that it holds to be true. Okay? And dreams is not easy to decipher. The dreams of the Rasul are, because we know they're always true. And that's the valuable information that he gave us. When he's inside of the dream, now it's true. It's a valid and a true experience of the soul in and of itself. Okay? Other than that, then you need somebody who is really skilled in dream interpretation. Women visit graveyards to have their destiny flips. If not what they do, yes, they can. And what is it that bars women? And Aisha was right there in the graveyard of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That saved that a woman, that the only thing that the ulama say is that she has to obviously be careful inside of the graveyard, just to hold the proper etiquette inside of the graveyard. That's the concern of Sharia. Other than that, if she can hold herself, then it's all good. It's all good. And look at the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam as an example, though it's not visiting graves, but it's going to a dead body. On the actual mutilation of Sayyidina Hamza, radiallahu ta'ala anhu warda, the Prophet sallallahu says to whom? To Sayyidina Abdullah, to Sayyidina Zubayr ibn Awam, the son of Safiya. The Prophet sallallahu shouts to Sayyidina Zubayr ibn Awam, it's at the Battle of Uhud, the woman. He says, the woman. Who does he mean, the woman? He means the mother of Zubayr, his own aunt Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib. Head off the woman. Deal with the woman. And so Sayyidina Zubayr goes and he heads off his own mother. Why? Because she's heading to the battlefield. She wants to see her own brother, full brother, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. He's been mutilated. Head off the woman. And so Zubayr stops his own mother. No. The Rasul told me to head you off. You ain't going to go and see him. No. Why? Because the fear now is, this is her full brother who's been not only killed but mutilated. Radiallahu ta'ala anhu warda. Is she going to be able to handle it? She said, I can handle it. Believe me, I can handle it. Okay, I can hold myself. And so Zubayr motioned to the Prophet, she said she can handle it. The Prophet says, let the woman go. Let her go. And then she goes, and she's in front of her own brother, Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu warda, and she holds herself radiallahu ta'ala anha warda. That's great. She can hold herself at that point. Look at another point of the great woman. When she comes to the Prophet, Sayyidina Safiya, and she said to the Prophet, asks him a question. Ya Rasul, O Messenger of Allah, do old people enter paradise? Same woman, Safiya. And the Prophet ﷺ says, no. So now she can't hold it. She's crying as she walks away, crying, such that the Prophet can't even approach her. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, the woman, don't touch the woman, and tell her that people don't enter paradise as old people. And he's being light with her. And then he recites the verse of Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Inna ansha'nahunna insha'a, that we created them, women, as a brand new creation. عُرُبًا أَبْكَارًا عُرُبًا أَتْرَابًا. أَبْكَارًا عُرُبًا أَتْرَابًا. Okay, the word atrab, even age, the age of Jesus, the son of Mary alayhi salam, when he ascended to the heavens, 33, 34 years of age. That's how people enter into paradise. Just go and tell the woman, but look how she couldn't hold herself as it relates to the next world. But she could hold herself as it related to this world, and the mutilation and the death of her own brother. Is it necessary to go to visit the grave, or is it sufficient to make dua for the deceased? Yani, if you don't visit, you shall not be visited. Take that as a rule. Kayfa ma tudin tudan, the Prophet ﷺ says. As you treat others, you shall likewise be treated. That's in the Hadith in Tirmidhi. Can you pray for somebody who died as a non-Muslim? The answer is, Shari'atul Mutahhara said you cannot pray for somebody who died as a non-Muslim. Right now they're tahta mashi'atillah, that they're in the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's good for them, it goes good for them. If it's bad for them, it's going bad for them, and your dua cannot alter that reality. Can't alter it. That's what we understand by it. لا يرد القضاء إلا دعاء. Nothing can repeal destiny except dua, the Prophet ﷺ says. But this dua, because there's two types of destiny, one that can be repealed and one that can't be. And the destiny of non-believers cannot be repealed by dua, cannot be repealed. And so they, what they call tahta mashi'atillah, they're now beneath the will of God. Okay? Yeah, that's a deeper question about, the question relates to the issue of destiny. If you're defining whether you will do a good or a bad life, I think the question is saying if your life is going to be bad, if you're going to have a bad life, and that is written 120 days after conception, how can sin be our fault? Okay? Yeah, here, like, what's being written upon you is what you are going to do. It's knowledge. Okay? That knowledge, as they say inside of theology, that knowledge does not exact effect upon reality. Knowledge. You get the point? And knowledge doesn't, because you know something, it doesn't make something happen. They're just two completely separate phenomena. So the fact that knowledge of who you're going to be is upon your forehead, then that's not affecting who you're going to be. They're two separate things. Remember, Allah Ta'ala knows everything, and Allah Ta'ala sends the angel describes who you're going to be. It's knowledge of Allah Ta'ala. But that knowledge is not forcing you to be who you are. That's sort of key there in that question. But it's a more deeper question, which is theological than you have. Can you have an abortion before the 120-day period? Well, that's the whole point. If it's not full life, and then the ulama are going to speak about the issue of abortion, which is the general principle. The ulama are going to allow it before the 120-day period, although some are still not going to allow it. Like Al-Ghazali doesn't allow it, because he says even though it's not human, but it's being prepared for life. So it's still sacred. That's the position of Al-Ghazali. But there's other ulama, Shafi'i fuqaha, Hanafi fuqaha, and others who will permit abortion before the period, what's called nafkh al-ruh, before the actual spirit descends. Something's going on Thursday evenings here, in these questions. Souls visiting the homes on Thursday evening. MashaAllah.
I'm not going to come downstairs.
And if you have nobody who's buried here, buried here, should you still visit a graveyard? Yes. Okay? And it's all good in a graveyard. One of the Salihin, rahimahullah ta'ala, and our teacher, Marabat al-Hajj, our teacher, Marabat al-Hajj, that they're Bedouins, who used to travel, previously used to travel the Sahara, seasonally, depending upon water and rain and what have you. And whenever they would alight inside of a new part of the desert, the first thing he'd go and ask the Bedouins in that part of the desert is, where do you bury your dead? And then when he found out where they'd bury the dead, he would just disappear. And people would be asking, where's Marabat al-Hajj? Where is he? And then they'd find him always inside of the graveyard. And then he'd ask him, why is it that you're always inside the graveyard? He said, I prefer the company of the dead than the company of the living. Their company. That's Darul Qawmul Mu'mineen. They're an abode of believing folk. One of the Salihin, rahimahullah ta'ala, he used to sit at the outskirts of the city. And then this man, in the tradition, it means that he comes into town. And he's new in town, right? He says, so where's it all happening inside of this town? And this righteous man says, right in there. Go through those gates, right through there. And he goes, in there? He says, in there. So he goes in, comes running out. He goes like it's a graveyard. And it's all happening inside of there. And so look, Shafi teaches us. He says, subhanallah. He says, look at the ibrah of the Salihin. He said, I've sat upon this gateway for 40 years. And I've noticed one thing. Those that go in don't come out. It's got to be good. Got to be a good place. The ones who go in, they never come out. MashaAllah. Think about the graveyard. And at what age can you take a child to the cemetery? That's something the children, as I said, should be accustomed to from an early age. As the Prophet is saying, Abdullah ibn Abbas. Usually to age of discernment, issue of beyond 7, otherwise a child doesn't understand the adabs, usually prior to 7. Child's in the world of play. But they move beyond the age of 7, they reach the point of discernment. Now it's time for real tarbiyah. The time where you're teaching them to pray, you're teaching them to fast from the age of 7. Likewise, teaching the higher reality of going to the graveyard. As the Prophet ﷺ said, كُنْتُ نَحَيْتُكُمْ عَنْ زِيَارَةِ الْقُبُورِ in the Sahih. I used to prevent you from visiting the graveyard. That's why you didn't understand the nature of those inside of the graveyard. You didn't understand the etiquette that you have to have inside of the graveyard. You were recently from shirk, so it was superstitious for you. Now that's been cleansed, زُورُوهَا, visit the graveyard. فَإِنَّهَا يُذَكِّرُكُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ, Because it reminds you of where you're going, the next world, the next world, the next world, the Prophet ﷺ said. Yeah, and it is a truth that if somebody dies on a Friday, they are not questioned inside of the grave. And Allah Ta'ala alam about not being questioned, but it goes good. Right? There are special times to die. Of them Fridays. That's a special day to die. Allah Ta'ala overlooks the sins of a person who dies upon a Friday. Likewise Ramadan. Yani, MashaAllah. Yani, blessed time to die. That's in Al-Bukhari, in Futihat Abwab al-Jannah. The gateways of paradise are cast open. Ghulliqat Abwab al-Niran. And the gateways of hell are all bolted. So, MashaAllah, Tabarakallah. Yani, it's a good time to die. And likewise also good places. And likewise also good acts. Dying inside of sujood. MashaAllah, Tabarakallah. Somebody dies inside of sujood. Dying in dhikr. I mean, subhanAllah, the person once told me about a specific person that they were looking at them and they were making dhikr, hakada. They had the beads, the subha, making dhikr. And they were just watching, they said they were cooking and watching them making dhikr. Watching them making dhikr, and then it just stopped. Hakada. They just gone to the next world. What a way to die. Right there. That's MashaAllah, Tabarakallah. Are you good, inshallah, Tabarakallah.